call the Finance Committee meeting to order at 5:01 p.m. on April 9th.
I'll call the select board meeting to order on the 4/9/2025 at 5:01 p.m.
All right. Jim emailed out minutes. Did you all get the minutes to see them from Monday's meeting? Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the minutes of April 7th, 2025.
Second. Any discussion? Other than very impressive job for Jim of getting a select board in there too on every line. That was like, dang.
I'm probably not going to do as well, so I'm going to send you draft minutes so you guys can plug in stuff. I'm not sure I'll be able to keep up.
Okay.
Hopefully we don't have too many meetings.
He sets that standard kind of.
He does.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yep.
No one wants
Okay.
to substitute right now.
Zoom is also listening in and generating its own summary, so use that. It's usually not great with hybrid meetings, but you could at least take a look.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion on the minutes? All those in favor? Opposed, abstaining, motion passes 3-0-1. All right. So we are ready for budget line items, I think.
Okay. Do we want to start with the highway payroll that I handed out tonight?
Yes, please.
Oh, thanks so much.
That's 422-5110. I think this is as good as it's going to get because the union contract won't be signed until after town meeting.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to recommend $731,968 for general highway payroll, account number 422-5110.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'll just give you a quick synopsis. We've plugged in the new highway superintendent's salary, a step increase for Diane Cornwell and for Chris Miller because they're on a regular compensation plan. Plugged in what we think will be voted for the union contract for rate for each of the current employees. The mechanic, Matt felt that he couldn't hire a mechanic for less than $30 an hour. So we plugged that one in at a step 6. He felt comfortable with that. And if you look at the bottom of this, we're still projecting summer help of $15,000 worth. So that's 3 summer employees. And then there's still a $5,000 amount in here as an allowance for contract settlement stuff because I think it's possible that we might be paying a couple more stipends.
Any questions? Go ahead, Margaret.
Has there been any thought to, now that there's an additional highway employee, has there been any thought to reducing the seasonal labor costs to try to offset some of that full-time labor increase?
Christopher and I have both proposed that, but Matt has been told by his staff that he needs the summer help and he's concerned about taking it away, not knowing enough yet. They currently have one employee who's a leftover from last year's summer help that they've had apparently throughout the year. And they're continuing, they intend to keep him on, and I think then they have 2 more that they plan to hire. And he felt that the cost of that, each one was gonna be $5,000 for the summer.
Okay, so how do you keep them through the whole year for the summer salary?
Good question. I don't know.
Okay.
That's above my pay grade.
We don't have we don't have an additional employee though, do we?
We do have an additional employee plugged into this,
Who?
Jaden Melnick,
But he's-
because he's been acting as our quasi mechanic, even though he's not totally qualified to be a
Right.
mechanic.
Oh,
And
so
since
in
we're
addition, we
hiring-
would hire another I see what you're
Correct.
saying. Okay, I was
Correct.
thinking he was taking a spot, but you're right. Okay, all right.
The other thing was the overtime for each employee. Last year, we had it at 220 hours per year, and we have way overspent that already. So I know this was an odd year, but Matt and I went back and forth on this, and he wouldn't accept anything below 240 hours because he wanted to make sure he was covered, so.
Might just need to take a year and have him settle in and see how he's gonna use the staff.
Right.
So where was the salary paid out for the person who stayed on all winter then?
From here.
From,
And it's been all right, they, in their defense. Kevin retired on July 5th, and Chris Miller took his place. So Chris Miller was trying to do the job of two people,
Mhm.
and they had no mechanic, and they had somebody trying to be the mechanic.
Doing the best he could.
And,
Yeah.
and so really to keep that person on, their payroll has plenty of money in it. There's no.
So they're not overexpending what they have in
No,
hand.
no,
so
they're gonna have a
Kevin,
lot
yeah.
to turn back this year.
Brenda, did you already touch on the mechanic step?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I'll just ask again of that, I'm sorry, the new superintendent's name again is Matt?
Matthew.
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 Yeah, I just want to reiterate that I would ask Matt to keep on his radar, given the increase in labor in the department, the possibility that they might be able to look at outside vendor contracts and start maybe reducing those, given the fact that there is increased in-house labor. So we may be able to see some reduced costs in this department in future fiscal years. And I don't think the select board has made a motion on this yet.
We have not yet.
One.
I'll make a motion to approve General Highway 422-5110 at $731,968.
Can you hear me? I'll second it.
Thank you, Blake. Yeah, just my 2 cents on that. I think we're really hoping for him to evaluate this year. And like you said, where can he shift some of the labor and to either reduce some of the subcontracting, decide where that labor needs to be split up, give us a good evaluation in a few months as to once he gets his feet wet and sees where we're at.
Any other discussions or questions or comments? All right, we have a motion and a second for general highway payroll at $731,968. Any discussion? All those in favor? It's unanimous, 500.
Any further discussions from Select Board?
No.
All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. Thank you.
All right, what do you want to do next?
If you want to go to your summary sheet, the last page. Christopher got a hold of, Smith Voc, and they have no applications for students this coming year.
Oh,
So I reduced that down to $100, just so we have something in there in case something changed to allocate. So I wondered if we could go ahead and vote that.
Do we have a motion? I'll make a motion that we recommend Smith Voc tuition at $100.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve, Select Board as Smith Voc at $100.
Second.
Thank you. I had one question. Would, if we do wind up with a student, would it be a reserve fund transfer somewhere, or would we request it at fall town meeting or something
Probably
like that?
requested at fall town meeting
Okay.
because it would be too much to take from the
That's
reserve
what I
fund.
thought. Okay, I didn't know if it makes sense to leave one in there, but, okay, I'm good with that.
Any other questions or comments? No, all those in favor? That's unanimous.
All those in favor, Select Board?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Deborah McDaniel, aye. Thank you.
So I assume we're voting $100 just to kind of keep that line item open. Do
Yeah.
we need to keep the transportation line open too?
It's all in one.
It's all in one.
appropriation.
Okay,
Yep.
beautiful.
If you look at that page again, I plugged in the 3 capital requests that could possibly come from free cash that we had looked at the other day. I know we talked about putting off the flooring for a year for the school, but I went ahead and plugged it in just for us, for discussion purposes, at 28,500. I plugged in $20,000 for the town computers, and I plugged in, and you have a sheet for that. I also plugged in the circulation pumps for the heat for the school at 18,000. So it came to 66,500. I wanted to plug it in there so we could see what was really left. Based on this synopsis, we'd have $221,000 left with the budget as it is to put into capital stabilization if we wanted to. So just, you know, I didn't know.
I think we're not ready to vote capital because capital CIPC needs to do their hearing before we
Yep,
can
we'll do one
vote
more.
that.
We should be ready to go next Monday, I think.
Great. Okay.
Okay. But thank you, that helps.
And then I just handed out to you a synopsis of what the debt would look like between now and fiscal year 2040 with the current debt that we have. So with the wastewater treatment plant debt and the excluded debt for town. So that includes the library, assuming we take out a bond in fiscal year 27, assuming we get a certain amount for fundraising money, so on and so forth. But so there's a lot of variables in here, but you can see if you look at the line, the first line with numbers, it's the gross excluded debt service, so that's what's going to hit the taxes. So for fiscal year 26, we're looking at $1.1 million. Fiscal 27, just a little under $1.1 million. Fiscal 28 is when we actually take out, have to start paying on the bond on the library, so it's a little higher. But going over to fiscal year 35, that's the year that the garage drops off the list. So we're at
I see,
almost $1
drops a
million
couple.
up to that point, and then you go down to 700,000. So that would be a good year for you to take out something else, borrow
Well,
for something else.
Yeah,
Or
no,
not.
I was just gonna say that we might want to hold off on doing a senior center until at least
Exactly.
2035.
Yep,
A
and
long
we may
time.
have schools coming up too.
But
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, in
Yeah.
10 years. Yep.
Yeah, this is good.
great. Yeah. Well, it makes it much easier now that the wastewater treatment plant's done and I, have 3 set loans.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like hard numbers.
Great.
So on that summary sheet that we were just looking at that had the Smith Voc, snow and ice, there's a snow and ice value in there.
Mhm.
Oh, you're right. So snow and ice is still in there. We were talking about taking that from the current year's appropriation for Smith Volk because we didn't have any students this year either.
Oh,
And we had $104,000 in there. Right now, we've spent almost $85,000 over our appropriation for snow and ice. So it could possibly be up to 90,000, but it was Christopher's idea to do a warrant article to just reallocate that money. So
Mhm.
that frees up free cash even more. I forgot about that. So you add another 85,000 to your 221,000 and you have over 300,000 that you can apply to capital stabilization.
Mhm.
So if that number turns into 0, we don't have to vote anything, right?
If what
If we take this 85,000 and make it a 0, we don't have to vote that line item, right?
well, you
Right.
want to vote it,
When we get to the.
Yep.
Okay.
yeah,
Alrighty.
but you're right, you wouldn't, yeah, because it's not going to affect free cash. It's just an appropriation transfer. I think you also had all the schools that you wanted to.
We
put
do
tonight.
want to do the
Yep.
schools. Let's do those now. Which is what, 300? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, 300-5400 for the Deerfield Elementary School.
So I want to make one comment before we get into it, I guess. So we sent off our list of questions to Shelley. She responded to everybody, so hopefully everybody's seen the response to those lists of questions. One thing that we had wrong when we were going through it, we were looking at expenditures for IAs from the school choice account. Some of that is special ed where the sending school has to pay for the special ed and that. But some of that is just they are using school choice to pay for some of the regular like classroom IAs that are not. And it's 9 positions that they're paying for out of school choice. And I don't think we clearly said that last time we were talking about it. I think we were sort of implying that it was all this extra for special ed, and it's not.
Mhm.
Part of it is. So, clarify that. Why don't we just make a motion for the Deerfield Elementary School, and then we can start talking on that. 300, 5,400. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve $5,501,517 for the Deerfield Elementary School account 300-5400.
Second.
Make a motion for the select board to approve account 300-5400 for $5,501,517.
Second.
Thank you.
Any discussion?
General question, Brenda?
Yeah.
Sorry, I already asked.
Grab the
Yeah,
mic.
Mike,
I was just curious, does the elementary school return money as free cash on a regular basis or not?
generally not. So
Generally not, okay.
when we get to the end of the fiscal year, they will encumber everything they have. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't always get spent down to 0. So they might have 20,000 left at the end of the year that then will go into free cash, but it's a very small amount.
If it's over 5%, they have to, correct?
5%?
Or am I just thinking Frontier?
I don't know.
There's a
You're
limit on
talking about
E&D.
their excess and deficiency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
just
different.
Frontier?
It's just
Okay,
Frontier.
Yeah, because
gotcha.
Deerfield's part of the town,
Correct, okay,
DES is part of the town, yeah.
that makes sense.
Can I just, so when you say encumber, you mean assign any potential extra cash to an expense that they are definitely gonna spend in the
Yes.
next year, or that or you're committing to spend already, like you
They,
put a
they,
contract
they
out to buy
have
something
already issued purchase orders
for something?
for those items.
Yeah.
And they have very specific vendors, dollar amounts, yes. And some of them just don't get spent, or sometimes they buy something and they have to return it, whatever it is. So sometimes there's a small amount that gets left on the table.
Go
It's
ahead.
not entirely on the budget, but did anybody, I've had a terrible week. Did anybody go to the meeting or listen to the meeting? And my real question is there any buy-in from other towns about the regionalization of the elementary schools?
I could not make it last night.
Oh,
did you?
There's a very long answer to that, but, so
Well, the short answer is regionalization doesn't mean that you're like actually combining any of the elementary schools. It's like it's creating a new district, basically.
yeah,
So there's no cost savings really to speak of, limited.
unless you combine
Yeah,
buildings.
Unless you, right.
And the way they're talking about it to start with the possibility remains open that you could combine buildings, but there's kind of no intent to do that off the bat.
Hmm.
From what they presented last night.
What,
So there are two separate statutes governing the schools as we have them now. So wrapping the K through, what is it, K through 6 right
Yeah.
now, or pre-K through 6?
Pre-K through
Wrapping that into the regional schools would fall under a completely different statute. So when the town votes on the regional school budget now, there are separate rules. The town must vote it up or down. The town does have to relinquish some of the control it currently has in the way that it votes the budget. So I think my sense, my takeaway from last night's meeting was there's an awful lot more homework that
Yeah.
needs to be done, both on the town side and on the school committee's side. So we can completely understand all of the impacts of making a change like that. It's big.
So you're talking about that in a similar way to Frontier when you say that the town is committed to vote up or down the way we do Frontier? Is that what they're talking about for the
Yeah.
elementaries?
Mhm.
if we,
What's the
currently, or if we
No.
did it? Yeah.
If we regionalize.
Yep.
What's the benefit of fully regionalizing if one of the unnamed smaller towns isn't wanting to kind of combine with a bigger town to save money? What is the administrative advantage?
It's
Well,
administration.
yeah,
It
it-
actually
Yeah.
reduces,
Well, you still,
Like-
you mean you might not have a principal in every
Yeah, but
school?
no.
it's just the multiple school committees, multiple contracts, like this, all the meetings that have to be done and just duplicate over and over and over again.
You'd have a regional elementary school committee that would
Yeah.
cover the towns.
Yes,
You would have a regional school committee
you're right.
that would cover Frontier and the 4 elementary schools. It would be one school committee
Oh.
covering all 5
If you
schools.
grouped it all together, oh, I was
Right.
thinking you would
He
just be.
said that there would not, the idea of having 2 districts, a K through 6 and a
Upper,
7 through 12.
yeah.
I can,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can count. Is, that's not allowable under the current statute.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he said it would be one
One
regional
thing.
district, but the budgets would be subcategories essentially. I don't have the
Okay.
right terminology, but
Yeah.
there would be a Deerfield Elementary budget, a Sunderland budget, a Whately budget, a
Okay.
Frontier budget, whoever I missed, a Conway budget,
Yeah.
right? That would be for that school only. So Deerfield would pay the Deerfield Elementary budget plus like our assessment would be the Deerfield Elementary budget plus our share of the Frontier budget, essentially as it
Right.
is now.
Yeah,
Except
But-
for-
go ahead.
Sounds like there could be changes with it to equalize the employees' benefits.
yes, that's the big
Right.
ticket item.
Where
Where it's unequal.
Where it's unequal, right?
Yeah.
And
The other thing it would enable is some sharing among the schools of personnel.
Yeah,
So like if you had a deficiency in one school, you could have somebody from a different school fill in, and it would make much smoother,
right.
sharing of people across the schools. So there would be some administrative burden lifted there.
They do currently do some of that, though, in the school
They,
union,
they
don't they?
do, and when we become, Deerfield becomes the kind of the lead employer, and then so we bill out the cost for insurance for each, it gets a little messy, but yeah, but we do that now, but it would be much simpler, I think, if it was all under one HR.
One example, Bill Hildreth was saying that he had, for example, he had a custodian at one school, he had a custodian leave at another school, and he couldn't just take this custodian and have them work 6 hours at the other school
Right.
just to fill in or something. That
Right,
was not something he could accomplish the way the contracts were right now.
gotcha.
So there would be some
Yep.
smoothness there.
Yeah,
And there would also be a parent, so none of this is written yet, but the other thing that they brought up is there would be, the whole school choice thing within the union, within the 4 schools would be completely different. It wouldn't be a school choice anymore. And there would be more flexibility with being able to shift people from school to school. For example, you have a kid who has special needs and you have a really good program for them at one of the other 4 schools, you can shift them over there more easily.
yeah, without a
don't-
huge
But
expense.
But it also suggested that the pot of money
Would be pooled as
like,
well.
would just be split up in some way.
yeah.
But it wasn't combining the elementary school in the fifth
No.
one, so, yeah, which is too bad.
Not yet.
But I think we would need to work towards that.
Yeah, is
within the
that an option,
structure.
though? I mean, if,
Yeah.
if you wanted to? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could get everybody to commit to it.
Well, the interesting thing there, so if you did regionalize, do people lose, towns lose say? I mean, if you have a regional school
little
district,
bit.
is there a
Yeah.
central admin that can sort of say, we're shutting down the school because it makes
Yeah.
sense to combine?
No, so
Oh.
they did address that.
Okay.
It depends on how the agreement is written. And the advice was that it would be written that the town in which the school is would have to vote to approve closing down the school in that town. And that would be the way he thought that, I mean, this was the lawyer speaking
Sure, yeah.
for, who has done regionalizations in other areas of the state, and he's the legal representative for the schools. So his advice was, the only way to get it passed is to have that agreement in there.
He had a lot of difficulty. I attended remotely, and there was a lot of difficulty with the remote participation last night. Did the group at any point discuss a timeline or any kind of future work toward this study?
So the first thing they're gonna do, so yes, sort of. They said the soonest that it could be pulled off would be July 1st of 2027. The first step will be to do a sort of a quick, high-level financial analysis of it to determine, like, if it's going to cost a ton of money, then it's dead on arrival and they're not even going to look at it. So they're going to take the information they have. They're not going to hire anybody or anything. They're just going to take the information they have and do like a quick assessment, because you have the whole health insurance thing. You have everybody comes on the same class comp plan or whatever you call it for the schools. And so there's some effect there. Although what happens is, if I'm making X amount of money, they pick the step that's closest to the amount. It has to be at least as much as I'm making right now. So they pick that step. So that's not a huge impact. We lose hold harmless is my understanding. So there's a chunk of money that we lose there. We gain regionalization transportation support, but that, so there's like a bunch of sort of high level financial things. So the first step, and I think they did agree that they're going to go off and say, first step, they're going to do this high level financial analysis and come back with
Who's going to?
Shelley Pareda and Russ, the guy who was speaking,
So Russ Dupre, he is an attorney for several school districts. And interestingly enough, he created the regional school district agreement where I last served as a town
Oh, okay.
administrator, where I retired from. And it had just been done. So once they do the analysis, I think another area that the town is really going to have to pay close attention to, and this includes the town clerk, because the election of regional school committee members is going to come into play. We're going to have to really study several drafts of a regional school agreement if we even get to that point, because there can be bumps in the road. The other thing that he said last night was interesting to me was he used two regional school districts as examples. He used the Berlin-Boylston Regional School District, and he also used Greylock. And I thought that was an interesting contrast because I know for a fact that Berlin-Boylston has increasing enrollment, and I suspect that Greylock has declining enrollment. So it'd be interesting to see the differences between those two agreements. And it's just a note that I.
So it was interesting, but not any big financial impact yet. And I think that, I mean, the comment was the only way you really save money is by closing a building. I have this fantasy where, it's not a fantasy, where you could have two school buildings, one in Sunderland, one in Conway, close the elementary school in Deerfield. I'll get like pilloried for saying this, and make the Whately Elementary into a senior center. They would be split between those two schools, half in Sunderland and half in.
So the west side of the highway goes up to Conway, yeah.
And east side goes to Sunderland. I don't know.
Interesting.
But we have the high school, so we don't really need but we also have in my opinion, the nicest building and the best facilities and the best services, so.
Get turned into indoor pickleball court.
There you go.
And we do it all
No,
2031.
Get it passed.
Senior housing, 2035.
30, yeah, 31, sorry. Yeah.
So anyways, now everybody's gonna hate me because I said that,
No,
especially Tina.
we need to look outside the box.
All right, I don't think that would happen anyway. So any other comments on the elementary school budget? Everybody was okay with the replies we got from Shelley and all that? We need to talk about the same.
I just wanted to say thank you for emailing her.
Oh, yeah,
Appreciate it.
that's the deal, right?
And thank you, Shelley, if you're watching for
Yes. All right.
applying.
So we have a motion and a second for Deerfield Elementary School, 300,500 at 5,501,517. Any discussion? All those in favor? That's unanimous.
Any comments?
No.
So moved. And all those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Next page.
Yep, 310-5400.
We have a motion.
I'll move that we approve $4,551,984 for the Frontier Regional School budget, account number 310-5400.
Second.
I'll move the Frontier Regional School budget for the Select Board, 310,5400 at $4,551,984.
Second.
Thank you.
So this isn't their total budget because we will vote the transportation part of it next. So just so you know, that's why the numbers don't agree with maybe what you have, so.
Any discussion, questions, or comment? All those in favor? Unanimous?
All those in favor for the Select Board or comments?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
Next page.
315-5800.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the Frontier Regional Transportation budget in the amount of $122,280, account number 315-5800.
Second.
I'll move the same for the select board.
Second.
Yeah, so this is showing almost a 29% increase, but if you take the two numbers together, it's that 4.51% increase or whatever it was for the town of Deerfield, something like that.
What was the reason
Yeah,
for the
4.51%.
big increase? I can't remember it wasn't a new
2.7.
contract, was it?
No, it was,
Oh, sorry.
you can probably explain it better.
No.
No. It had something to do with Conway.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh. I thought you were asking about the transportation specifically.
Yeah, I was.
Oh.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember because I know we did the contract
I didn't hear
like
you.
a year or so ago, but I don't remember why it went up so much.
This is a silly question, but what exactly is this?
Transportation for the school, the kids on the bus,
Just for Frontier?
just for
Just
Frontier.
for Frontier.
This, okay, why
And
did I
it-
think
and it's
the
in a-
amount was so,
it's-
I
it's
thought it
in
was
a
much
s-
higher than that.
What's that?
I always thought the bus contract was a lot higher.
It's a
So
we
there's
vote
a-
a 5-year, I think, right? Or a
There's an
3 to 5 year.
offset that the state pays for regional,
Right.
and
They'll
regional schools
reimburse.
get reimbursed.
Yep.
So
And we
I
used to
think
with
that's taken out.
Deerfield Elementary, but now they cover all of the transportation in the Frontier budget. So that includes DES, right?
Well,
Or
I guess
does it?
that's what I was about
I
to
don't
ask.
think it
where-
does.
how
No.
much the,
No.
No.
transport-
Deerfield's is in the Deerfield.
Above
Right,
it.
right.
and it's a
And
lot
this
more
is-
than this.
Or maybe this is the portion that they
It's
believe they can
Deerfield's
get reimbursed
portion.
for.
It's a bigger number, but it's Deerfield's portion.
Deerfield's portion, why is Deerfield Elementary pay more for transportation?
No, Frontier, this is only Frontier.
This is only Frontier.
Yes.
No, I
So
get
he's
that.
saying that this is only Deerfield's portion of Frontier. You sure that's?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
But
oh,
is it
oh,
ju-
of course. Okay.
Yep.
I got it.
Yeah, it's a larger number, but it's just
course.
our version, our assessment for the town.
But if you look at the history, you can see it's been all over the board. It goes up and
Yeah.
down, up and down.
Yeah, I remember they did renegotiate a new contract, which was much higher. They had to pay a lot more for the drivers, that people were retiring, that kind of thing. But I thought that was like 2 years ago, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just finally hitting our budget now. That's probably what happened. It's probably just hitting our budget now.
Frankly, I see how this bounces around, but frankly, I was a lot more concerned about the elementary school's transportation portion of their overall budget, because they do run a special,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to call it a van, what do they call it? It's an SUV.
Yeah,
It's an SUV they run up to Pecumtuck, right? For $75,000 a year, and I don't know that I ever got an answer as to why it is so much to run that one vehicle to that one location to pick up a couple of kids from
Yeah.
that area. That's
Would-
quite expensive.
would be nice if maybe the group could shuttle them down to the main road, and then pick up as normal with everybody else.
If it was Eaglebrook, if there's some way to talk to Eaglebrook to maybe, I mean, Eaglebrook has its own transportation department. If there was
Right.
some way they could do it and work
To
with
help.
the town, save
Yeah.
a little bit of money, it would be helpful.
Yeah. I think we'll have to continue that conversation.
It's not a big walk either.
Right. It's uphill both ways.
Those of us who walk on the line. Wait, why is it uphill both ways?
I'm kidding,
I missed that.
in the
Okay.
snow and it's uphill both ways.
My walk was uphill both. I never got to have a bus.
When we were kids, we walked halfway across town to get to
Well,
school.
Yeah.
I was over a mile. Yeah, I think it was close to 2 miles
Wow.
back in my
Ran.
day. And I had
You
to
didn't take
do
the
it with
horse?
a trumpet every day. Yeah.
Remember people used to take horses.
Better a
That's
trumpet
right.
than a baritone horn.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we're kind of straying.
Yep.
Any other discussion on Frontier Regional Transportation? Nope. All right, all those in favor? That's unanimous.
All those in favor for select board?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye.
So that leaves just police payroll and animal control to vote. And I never did get an animal control budget, so I need to reach out to Chief and see if he can get that for us for Monday. I've probably budgeted a little high for it, but
It was gonna
maybe
be
by
high, right?
$1,000.
Wasn't it gonna be higher this year? Was that the
Well,
conversation?
that was the kennel, and the
Oh.
kennel came down to a 10% increase.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And that's a very small portion of that budget. So I think, you know, I think we're ready for the warrant, and
Yeah.
if you had something else that you
I
wanted.
do have something else. So police payroll, we're not doing because we don't have it.
Right, right.
What's the,
Christopher thought he would be able to get that number for us today, but he said
Next
that
week.
was not possible, so.
When are you
Okay.
meeting again?
Monday?
Yeah.
Assuming that's not a holiday. Right, it's the next week that's a holiday.
No, 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, the week after that. Yeah,
So
sorry.
did you just put a number in the sheet? That's,
I did. I just threw something in there. It's a little high, but.
Okay.
Oh, yes, yeah, and for police payroll, I plugged in a good buffer that should cover it. I'm hoping in the end, we're gonna be paying maybe a little less than what's in there, but we'll see.
Okay. Can we talk about the school, the two requests from the schools that are capital? One was those pumps and the other was the flooring. Did anybody get any more feedback back about the pumps? We were asking, they were gonna do 18,000 this year and 18,000 next year, and then we were asking, well, if you done them both this year, could you get them for cheaper and blah, blah, blah. Did anybody get any feedback on any of that?
I haven't, no. Hope to have some soon, but yeah, I don't have any.
Okay. Is there was some discussion last time we were talking about this, about asking the schools to cover those out of funds that they had in hand. Is there still, like, where are we on that? Are we,
I believe in Shelley's response to you in that email, that was a no-go, right? Or,
they don't want to do it, of course, yeah, so.
Yeah,
Although one thing we did clarify is that the schools were under the impression that CPC had told them that they were not allowed to ask for any more money for the playgrounds ever. And we did clarify that that's not true.
Right.
That they can, I mean, it's a legal request, they can request it. There may or may not be money available to do it. But, you know, they can come back and request again. So that has been sort of smoothed over, and hopefully that will help the schools feel more comfortable going forward.
That was from the CPC or from the CPA or the whatever the.
Yeah, the Community Preservation Committee is the CPC that oversees the Community Preservation Act
Yep.
funds. Yeah, so it's all the same.
They said you can't come back, but the capital planning committee says.
No, they didn't say that you can't come
Those are
back,
what you're talking about.
but that they were,
Thought.
it was a misunderstanding, right? They said, oh, there may not be money, and
Yeah.
the schools heard you're not allowed to come back, and that
Right.
was not,
Yeah.
that was not the case, that they absolutely can come back and request again, and if there's funding, then it may or may not get approved, so. But there's no reason that they could not come back and ask again.
Yeah, I don't have my capital notes with me, but I can email
No.
like Darius and Shelley and see if, they have a preference for pushing that or doing them at a different time or something. Yeah.
Okay. My understanding is that they want to do both. They want us to pay for both. If we can only pay for one, that they want us to do the pumps and not the floors. I mean, that's
Yeah,
kind of where
that
we
was
are
my
right now, so.
understanding too.
So we're gonna wait to discuss that. This is a question, to discuss that until after capital has had your public hearing and are ready to do that. Okay. So the reason I'm asking it is that Shelley keeps asking me whether we voted this and what if we have any feedback for them yet. So I can give her feedback now that we voted all the budgets that we have. The two capital items we will talk about next week. Okay.
I'd like to know if there are potential rebates for those circulation pumps that would come back to the town. That could make a difference in our vote.
Okay, so are you gonna reach out? Okay. Potential rebates and whether buying two at once to now makes sense.
Does it make any difference to the sort of calculations here, what their budget is looking like as they get to the end of their fiscal year? In terms of,
Or whether they have funds
Well, just
available
in terms of-
to use yet, probably.
but we don't, we don't see that.
Well, and
Anyway,
so,
school
and
committee would see
sometimes,
that. We don't see
sometimes
it.
towards the end of the year, they might say, oh, well, we charged $27,000 of payroll to school choice and we now want to take it out of the appropriation. So they make adjustments towards the end of the year as they come down because they want to spend the appropriation, if at all possible, and leave the school choice money, right?
Yep.
So, yeah. So I haven't gotten any of those requests yet, but I'm sure they're bound to come.
Okay. Now we're ready for the warrant, I think. I'm done dragging things out. We can move on. Sorry, everybody. So you're gonna give us an overview or what's?
Yeah, so
Okay.
so everyone should have, well, actually, I don't know if you have it in front of you, but everyone should have gotten a copy from Julie of the version of the warrant that was closed by the select board a couple weeks ago. That warrant needs to be posted by Wednesday of next week. So that's the timeline we're working with. I have started drafting motions. Brenda had helpfully drafted all of the CPA motions. So I'm going to pull up a spreadsheet here on the screen, and I'm realizing now that the sun is just shining right down on that screen. So we might want to, I might shift that a little bit.
And,
One moment.
I gave you last week a copy of the CPA motions, but I had a lot of copies left, so maybe somebody didn't get it. Did I
Yep.
give you one?
Yep, I got.
Yeah. Did
Oh,
you
yeah,
get?
I don't know if there's an easy way to get that sunbeam out of the way.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it.
Yeah.
feel like
Okay.
we should, I just feel like in the meantime, we should just put some sort of tint plexiglass up there.
Or a new building.
That too. I could change the glass. Just feel like some way to shade it.
Building and over it. There.
Let me make this not abusively small to everyone's eyes. So it's- So yeah, so this spreadsheet just has the article number, the sort of description of the article, and then that third column there. And I know it's not big enough for some of the people in the room, but that has actual motion language. And then the last column there is just a summary of what the article does. So I think we can skip over kind of Article 1 there, which is just all the pro forma stuff we do at every single town meeting. Accepting town report, acceptance of grants. Oh, yeah.
Just
Brenda?
point out that, once the budget is set, we'll have to possibly change the assessor's,
Right.
elected amounts. I just made a note of
Right, so
that.
that's item 1B on the warrant, is the elected officials' compensation. So then we'll just move down to Article 2, which is free cash transfers. And so we generally just do the 100,000 for reserve fund, the 4% for the OPEB liability trust fund, which you should have that number in front of you on the warrant. And then the tuition transportation costs. And then Article 3 is the maximums on the revolving funds. So again, this is one we just vote every year. There's no change this year. And that's just a,
You know,
or,
and
oh, sorry, is that Julie?
I'm gonna take the nickel back just for a second,
Sure,
because I,
sure.
like this much explanation, we might as well just go ahead and vote them. So,
sure.
just very quickly, Article 1, Article 2, we already talked about, Article 3, we already talked about, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are all the usual budget-related stuff. We're gonna come back and talk about them all individually.
Okay.
Momentarily. 11 is CPC, 12,
I have it as 10.
13, and 14 all relate to Article 97 stuff having to do with Stillwater Bridge. Right? 15, I don't know what 15 is. What's 15?
15 is FERCog is updating their charter, and as part of that process, they need all member towns to, by a 2/3 majority vote, approve those charter changes, which are very straightforward and minor. So yeah.
16 is
16. So this is the prudent investment rule. So currently, any funds that we have, cemetery funds, other kinds of trust funds can only be invested in a very set legal list in Massachusetts. So this legislation allows your treasurer collector to invest those funds in a wider portfolio. Does not include stabilization or Community Preservation Act funds. So those remain tied to the legal list of, I think it's 10 funds, but everything else under the treasurer collector's purview, they can invest more widely.
Any Bitcoin?
No.
It's prudent investor, so hopefully not.
okay. 17 shifts as a constable to appointed instead of elected. 18 is a bylaw.
Yeah, 18 is just essentially now we have to, we've always done tax payment agreements for people who are in tax title. And just because of a recent legislative change, we now actually have to formalize that process and accept a mass general law.
19, 20, and 21 are citizens petitions from the Energy Committee, encouraging us to adopt the specialized energy-related items. MA is coming Monday at 6:30 to talk to us about this. I can push her later if
I'm encouraging you not to.
But yep, we will discuss it then. And then Article 22 is the voting 16 and older back again. So let's go back to the beginning and just start working through this. So now we're ready for your thorough discussion.
Yeah, sorry about
So let's start with Article 1 and just work through it and start voting this stuff.
So again, for Article 1, you have a motion just to vote those following matters. So acceptance of the town report, elected compensation, which Brenda has already pointed out will potentially shift a little bit. Acknowledgement of gifts. So these are the gifts from all of our nonprofits, Deerfield Academy, Eaglebrook, etc. The library interest for Dickinson, and then the authority to accept grants for the select board, as well as contracting authority, both for them and for the Board of Assessors. So that is Article 1.
And Brenda, you've gone through and looked at all these, like these are the real numbers from Deerfield and Bement and Woolman Hill and all this.
Right, I'm waiting until everything's been received through the end of this week, just so it's on a year's, try to keep it in the 12-month frame that I usually do it in. Deerfield Academy has given us their $10,500 for their pledge on the Deerfield Elementary School roof, so that's not in here yet. So that leaves them with an amount due of $10,500. So this will be updated before Monday.
Okay, so we're not ready to vote this one yet.
Library interest, you could vote if you wanted to, because that's in our budget. But if you want to wait for all of it and do it all at once for one.
Yeah, let's wait and just do it all at once. Okay, Article 2.
Right. So Article 2, again, free cash transfers. This one, I believe we can vote tonight because it's the $100,000 reserve fund transfer is set. OPEB liability, that number you have in front of you is also set. Brenda, that's correct, right?
And the out-of-district placement is $100 that you voted tonight, so that would be, it's not in that on the actual warrant, but it will be.
That was my question.
Yeah.
What this would say, $100.
$100. 647 and 100,000. Yep.
So I'm going to make a motion that we approve Article 2 as written with a limit of $100 on the out-of-district placement for Smith Voc. And then when it's written with that in there, the thing at the bottom just can say Finance Committee approves.
Right. Yep.
With the exception.
Or recommended by Finance Committee. I think.
Recommended, yeah,
Recommended,
sorry.
yep.
Thank you.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? That's unanimous. Article 3.
These are the same spending limits for the 53E and a half revolving funds that we have. Those limits haven't changed in years. They're still plenty appropriate.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to recommend Article 3 as written.
Second.
Christopher, do you have any comments or? No. Any discussion? All those in favor? That's unanimous. Article 4.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend Article 4 as written.
This is the one,
So this is gonna be 0.
well, it will be 90,000 or 85,000 to be taken from the Smith Voc appropriation. So it's just a matter of transferring appropriations.
Right.
And actually,
And the reason we do that is because the Smith Voc is voted separately.
Yeah.
Because it's a separate article on the warrant, it makes sense to then ask for that on the warrant to be moved.
what's the amount that we want to transfer?
Well, it's gonna be 85,000 or 90,000.
I plugged in 85,000 because that was the last number we talked about. But I think we determined that if there's really anything beyond that, we'll probably be able to handle it through year-end transfers
Right.
in this fiscal year.
I'd like to amend my motion to approve it as written up to $90,000. Oh, it is? Oh, 85, okay.
Say the vocation.
Yeah, there
That's
you
what it
go.
says
So
up there,
That's
yeah.
the motion that you can.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Yeah,
Interesting.
sorry if it wasn't clear what's on the paper and what's
Yeah.
up there. Yeah.
These are
Apologies.
different. So when we say as written, what do we, I guess what do we mean by that now?
As written on the spreadsheet up on the screen.
All right.
Sorry, I'm a little lost. Did we just change this to 90? Or okay.
Committee recommends approval up to 90,000. So if you decide to change it to 90, you're welcome to. If
Gotcha.
you
Okay,
leave it
just
at
wanted to
80,
make sure.
just-
Yeah. Gotcha.
Any discussion? Those in favor? That's unanimous. Who seconded it?
The next article is the capital stabilization fund transfer. So I think we'll hold on
wait
that, right?
till we know how
Yep.
much. Okay. The one after that?
This is the general budget.
Yeah, omnibus, so we'll skip
Okay,
that.
we're not ready for that. Next.
And then sewer enterprise fund, I think we are ready for, correct,
Yep,
Brenda?
This is what you voted. I've been through it a couple times. like to go through it again, just to be sure. But yes, no, this is the right numbers.
So the capital items that we talked about, there was a water.
Those are
pipe
separate.
connection, Those are
That-
separate.
Yeah,
That's not
that'll be
here.
in a
Okay.
separate table.
Okay.
Mhm. You saw that I sent those to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
In that case, I will recommend, make a motion to recommend, Article 7 as written.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? It's unanimous. Article 8.
And so then, yeah,
Scams.
these next two are the FY25 capital plan. So this was,
Press Skims yet first.
oh, did I miss
Yep.
scams? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh, you're right. Yep.
Article 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
can vote scams. So
Make
This,
a motion,
yeah, this is what you voted.
okay. Make a motion to recommend Article 8 as written.
Second.
And then just for the discussion phase, I say this every year, but this drives me nuts that we have to do this and we should pull this into the omnibus budget.
Oh,
For what?
use raise and appropriate. We'd still have to do the separate article, but
Yeah.
because it's an enterprise fund, yes.
For scams, you mean?
I have great hope that this will keep coming down as revenues come up and whatever. But
The revenues for
We'll
this
see.
last month were 140,000. That's like the biggest by far, like a huge jump over what I've seen in the past. So that was very nice to see.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? It's unanimous.
So now, yeah, this is FY25 capital improvement plan number 9. So we'll have those numbers pretty shortly. And again, I think these were just a couple sewer items, right, Brenda?
Yes, that's all,
Yep.
that's all, just 30,000 and the 20,000, all to come from wastewater treatment plant retained earnings.
Yep. And then FY26, obviously, we'll wait for the
Okay.
the next step on that. CPC recommendations.
Yeah, I thought it was Article 10, but I guess that's moved. So it's Article 11, but you've got all the motions in front of you.
Let's take these one at a time, I guess. Do we need to?
You had a copy.
Or are we
of it,
happy
right?
to do them all at once?
I'm happy to do them all at once,
Okay.
but I,
Preservation.
I've also seen all of them multiple times. I'm not sure if, I don't want to speak for the whole group, but I feel comfortable doing all of them at once.
Well, I could just quickly do a little synopsis.
Yeah,
You want me
that'd
to
be
do
great.
that?
Yes.
So the first one is 200,000 towards the Deerfield Elementary School playground. That'll come out of the FY26 estimated revenues. There was one condition that the school spend their contribution of 186,000 on the project before spending the CPA funds. The second motion is for a dock for the Tri-Town Beach. This is Deerfield's share. Whately is going to pay for half of it. So this is 16,000 towards that, with the stipulation that Whately also has to approve their half of the funding. That's coming out of the open space reserve. The third motion, $18,000 towards the cost share of the Mass Trails grant for the River and Ridge Trail Complex Phase 1 project. And that is to come out of the reserve, open space reserve also. This is the cost share for the grant. So we've received a grant. This is our portion of it.
We already received the grant?
Yes.
Okay.
The next one is 4,000 for the cost share. Oh, right, we did get the Mass Trails grant, right? Am I confusing the two grants?
No, we got the yeah, are you talking about the land conservation assistance one?
No, I was talking about the first one.
Oh, the mass trails. I don't know that we have actually gotten that
Okay,
grant yet.
that
I don't
one we
think
haven't.
have.
The next
Yeah.
one we have.
Okay.
Sorry, I was confusing the two. So the next one is 4,000 towards the cost share on the land preservation assistance grant to survey, Pocumtuck Rock. I can say
Fast.
that. Yes, I can say that, just not very fast. This grant we have received, that money would be coming from the open space reserve also. Then, the last one on the front of that page is $19,000 for, the 5% local match for, the APR on, Melnick's property. That would be coming from the open space reserve also. So of all of these, the only one that's gonna come from the FY '26 estimated revenues is the 200,000. Okay, so on the next page, on the backside, we're required to set aside 10% every year of the estimated revenues in one of the, in each of the three categories if we're not spending the money. So we've spent open space reserve, but we haven't spent anything for historical resources or for community housing. So we're gonna set aside 46,000 into each of those reserves. The next motion is just for their operating expenses. Every year, they're allowed to set aside up to 5%. And we always set aside the 5% just in case they need it. Most of the time, they don't. It goes right back into the fund balance if it doesn't get spent. Then the last motion just takes care of the rest of the budget. So we budgeted 460,000. We've spent all but 145,000 either towards projects or towards reserves or towards the operating expenses. So 145,000 will get set aside into what we call the community preservation budgeted reserve. This can be spent up until the date that we set our tax rate. Any questions?
On the balances, the Article 11 sheet, you have the 3.6 million undesignated fund balance. That's already been obligated
Right.
to.
So historically, we've just put on here what the balances were on June 30th because those are the ones that were certified by DOR.
Right.
So yes, all of these numbers have changed since then. We have more money in open space reserve. We have more money in, I think community housing or historic resources. I can't remember which one, but probably in historic resources. So those numbers have changed, but they're also not definite numbers because the amount that was put into the reserves was based on what our revenues were going to be. The year isn't over with. So that's why the FY '24 numbers. So there was 71,000 in open space reserve. So we spent 57,000 of it. Was
So
that clear as mud?
somebody already
Yeah.
always asks how much is in there, so it's worth putting it in there. I'm feeling like we need one more line that says note 3.7 million has already been
Right.
obligated to the 1888 building, so people don't read this and think, oh, there's 3.6 million, let's build a
Okay.
new school.
Yeah.
or whatever.
We'll revise that to, I'm sure Christopher and I can put something together that'll,
Come up with some-
because I felt uncomfortable about that too, but these were the
Yeah,
definite numbers that I could put on some.
What we voted for it already was, we voted for it last.
yeah, it was already voted
In
at town
October.
meeting.
Right. We'll just put
obligate a certain
amounts reflect balances as of June 30th and do not reflect the special town meeting vote for the 1888 building or something like that.
Something that,
Great.
yeah, to let people know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're not voting on this?
We can vote it. Anybody want to make a motion? Are you guys ready to vote, or do you want to wait until see what it says next week?
It's not gonna change. I mean,
Oh,
The only thing that would change
the-
would
the-
be
the little
the,
comment
whatever
at
it
the bottom.
says on the article.
I'll move to recommend Article 11 as presented.
Great, thank you.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Beautiful. That passes 500. I'm sorry, who, was that Beth who seconded?
Yeah.
Stillwater, you ready to talk about that tonight?
I can talk about it. I'm not sure what portion of it you need to recommend, but we can chat about it. So there are three separate articles here. The first article is basically to petition the legislature, and so I'll back up really quick. Stillwater Bridge, I hope most people are familiar with it. It's in need of reconstruction. We've been working with the Mass Department of Transportation to move that forward. And one part of that, after they did some preliminary design, was essentially understanding that the footings of the bridge need to shift over westward somewhat. And that means that we are going to have easements on land, really actually some of which is under the water and a part of the riverbed, that is Article 97 land, i.e. it's reserved for open space and recreation, and it takes an act of the legislature to do something else with it. So in this case, we have to petition the legislature to allow us to put bridge footings there, and then we also have to provide mitigation for those impacts that Article 97 land. So in this case, we are offering up DCR, the Department of Conservation and Recreation has a conservation restriction on this land where the bridge footings are going to go. And so we have a town-owned parcel further upriver that we are offering to them that put a conservation restriction on as compensation, basically, for taking that Article 97 land. So this article allows us to do that. It allows us to petition the legislature for a home rule petition to actually make all that happen. So that's that article. Any questions on that one? Because I know there's a lot of fancy footwork. So that's that one. And then the next article is actually for the authorizing the easements. So there's, I think, 7 impacted property owners. The main one is just the hydro company that owns land on both sides of the Deerfield River at that juncture. They also have all the Article 97 land on their shoreline and under the riverbed. But there are a handful of residential property owners as well. These easements are very small. They're like most of them are tens of square feet. Some of them are hundreds of square feet. We had them appraised to determine what just compensation would be. And it's going to total all easements $2,500. So it's a very small amount of damages that will be awarded. Brenda and I were talking about it. This is something, because it's a road and bridge project, it's Chapter 90 eligible. So we'll be seeking reimbursement through Chapter 90. It's not clear yet if we need to spell that out in an article or in a motion, rather. So we're just going to get some clarity on that from council. And if we need to put it in there, we will. So that's the easements. And then the last one on Stillwater is just basically changing the land use of that town-owned parcel that we're offering up as mitigation for the Article 97 land. So it just authorizes us to say, hey, instead of it being, vacant town-owned parcel, now it's specifically open space and rec, which is kind of the same thing, but that's what they want. So that's Stillwater.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think for 12 and 14, I would want to make a motion to make no recommendation for those. And then for 13, probably a motion to recommend, but I could start with 12 if you want to. We have to take these one at a time.
Why don't you do 12 and 14?
All right, so for articles, I'd like to make a motion that we recommend, or make a motion that we do not make a recommendation because there's no financial impact for Articles 12 and 14.
Second.
Any
Isn't it-
discussion?
Isn't it a huge financial mess if we don't do this and don't get to plan this bridge properly and all that kind of stuff?
It would be a fiasco
Yes.
for the town
Yeah.
if we
Complete
didn't, and it
disaster.
would be a really dumb move.
Yeah.
but-
Okay, I'm gonna retract that motion. No,
Yeah.
you're right. We have a very complicated land swap we have to do here. So I will make a motion to recommend Articles 12 through 14 as written,
I
unless we want to do them one
would
at a time, but.
I would honestly be happier reading all of this over the next week and voting it
Oh, okay.
next week, because I'd be happier just, I haven't read it yet.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, this is another.
not
one
that I'm gonna understand it, but,
Yeah, this is another one I did on capital, so I'll just. go
okay,
with my
so
motion. Yeah.
you know, it. All right. Go ahead.
On Article 13, it seems that that would be the only one that has a small financial impact, correct? And if there's something that we could review in writing at our next meeting that we can actually use to vote on.
I do have a question on it too, while we're
Yes.
that would be very helpful. I assume like you've talked to all of the people who own the property and there's nobody's unhappy about it in any way, or is there?
Yes, we were required to keep what's called a contact diary for this. And so, Greg and myself, contacted and interviewed all of the property owners, and then met on site with the hydro company as well. You know, people are never excited about, easements from their land or anything like that. These are really minor. And I'm not sure everyone will be pleased with only receiving, $100, say, for their easement, but that is what was appraised, and that's what just compensation is. So unfortunately, that's sort of, that's the end of it. Yeah.
So it's, I don't know the terminology, so I'm gonna mess it up, but it's essentially an eminent domain type of thing where
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
we need the easement, it's for the betterment of the whole
Mm.
town, which in this case, I agree.
Region,
Um,
yeah,
Yeah,
and the region, yeah.
and the whole region, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I would just reiterate, these are really, really minor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will do my homework and read up on the whole thing.
And,
There is a plot plan floating around somewhere.
yes,
that has-
if anyone wants the right of way plan or anything like that, it's very technical, but happy to share it, because obviously we're gonna include some iteration of that in the town meeting guide. Probably not quite as detailed as what
Right.
MassDOT has provided, but something along those lines.
Does the one that you have show the swaps? Because I saw one draft at some point that showed like where we were making all the swaps and everything.
I'm gonna put an image together that shows the swap, so to speak.
Recognize that it was a very good, thorough summary of everything going on here. Not that that time was wasted by you
Yeah.
to do that.
Thank you.
All right, so I am just remembering that last time we met, we said we were gonna go back and look at the budget as a whole and then talk about if there are any things that we wanted to cut. I think we should maybe do that on Monday when we have the police payroll
Mhm.
and the whatever the other one is, the animal thingy. And then we will have had all the items. You guys okay with that? Good, okay. In that case, 15.
Yep. 15 is the FERCog charter update. Again, they have gone 25 years without ever touching their founding charter. So some of the changes they need to make have to do with committee membership, the name of their planning board, which they're renaming a planning advisory board because that's less confusing with all the planning boards floating around. And they've got some other changes around clarity and definitions, things like that. Linda Dunleavy from the executive director of FERCog has provided a nice little summary of everything. I'm happy to send that around. So maybe you want to take a look at that
Yeah.
before
Yep.
voting
Okay.
this. So I'll do that. Article 16, I think I already touched on about the prudent investment rule. Again, this is, just one that a lot of towns are adopting, to give their treasurer collector a little bit more flexibility when investing funds.
This was suggested by Bartholomew, who
Right.
holds many of our trust funds, or the majority, almost all of them.
Yeah.
And they felt like it was a good thing to do. It would give them a little more flexibility. There's only a certain amount of stocks that we can hold anyway, but right now we're limited to a little group of about, what is it?
It's 10
10.
funds. Yeah.
And it's like Pfizer, Coca-Cola, all these.
We bought them all last week and then, sorry.
Can we, I'm actually not suggesting Bitcoin for this, but can we hold other securities like muni bonds, which I know kind of probably sounds ironic since we're like but like, are there other more stable investments that we can get other than, just,
Well, we through Bartholomew, there's a rule they have to follow on how much could be stocks and how much needs to be in treasury bonds and how much needs to be, so it's a
Stable.
good balance
Okay.
of investments that they hold our monies in.
And they're opening it up slightly, right?
Just,
to-
yeah, not a lot, just a
Little
little bit. It's just allowing a little more flexibility in the stocks and bonds, or excuse me, the stocks. And I don't even remember if there's a list. There isn't really, if I remember right. So, yeah.
I don't think so. I did also ask Sarah. Sarah's at a conference today, but she's going to provide a list of what specifically the funds are. So, what cemetery funds, all those things, so that we know exactly what those are. And again, it doesn't include our stabilization funds, and it doesn't include CPA.
Which are the majority of our funds. So
Right.
it doesn't affect a lot, but we'll be able to earn a little bit more on the smaller ones. Yeah.
Or not.
Right. Well, you're familiar with it. So it's like,
Second.
I haven't even looked at either one of these general laws, so I'm happy to vote it. I'll just abstain and I'll go read it on my own.
I actually kind of
mean,
want to look at
I've
them.
never read them, so I don't know. But,
But, right? Or do you-
I mean, I don't want to sit here and read it now. I'll go home and read it and come back and
Okay, yeah.
yeah. I'm
So we're probably
like,
going to.
I'm 100% sure it's perfectly fine and it's fine. I just feel like I should look at it before I vote on it.
Sure. So we're probably going to be holding on the remainder here, I would assume,
Okay.
right?
So let's just talk quickly about
I can
them and
talk
you
really
can
quickly
explain
about them.
and-
Yeah, appointed
Yeah.
town constable. So this is just one of the many positions that for a long time was elected in Massachusetts, and maybe isn't super appropriate for that way of appointing somebody. So we would like to make it an appointed position. In particular, Cassie has just pointed out that she has so many elections. We only have 3 elected constables, 2 of whom are active police officers. And so that can leave us scrambling sometimes to actually find a constable. So if we had the flexibility to appoint, we could have more constables and be able to staff those kinds of things more easily. She also just wanted to point out that, this is a change. We're basically allowing the voters to weigh in on this by bringing it up at town meeting. So the actual vote would occur next spring during town elections. And that's when the voters would be able to decide whether they want to move to an appointed constable position.
So right now, I'm guessing that the elected constables receive stipends. Making them elected, are they going to fall on any kind of a classification scale, and will their positions be subject to step increases and things of that nature?
I definitely don't think they're going to go on the class comp. I would assume it's something similar to what we have for our election workers, where they're,
Right.
they might receive a little bit, but I'm not even, do we pay them anything yet, Brenda, do you know?
$35 for posting
Yeah,
warrants.
that's right, yeah.
And then do we pay them by the hour when they're here for an election? I don't know.
That would probably be in Cassie's budget, so we could ask
Yeah.
her, yeah. So that, it sounds like we'll hold on that one, though.
Okay. Is there any specific information we want before we can vote it? I guess the question about the pay.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you. The next one I haven't read.
Yeah,
so
tax
do you wanna
payment
give us a
plans.
little explanation? and then-
Yeah, sure. So if folks might recall, the Supreme Court a couple of years ago ruled in a major tax case that had to do with towns essentially not being able to profit off of, you know, tax title sales foreclosure. So in the wake of that, the legislature took up a more comprehensive tax reform bill, and included in that was the sort of codification of tax payment plans. So currently, property goes into tax title, and we will work with them essentially to come up with a payment scheme so that they can actually, everyone wants we want the money, they want to pay it off, and so we come to an agreement. Previously, there were no sort of guidelines around those kinds of agreements, and so this new Mass General Law, which we need to adopt, just formalizes that. It sets a 5-year term for those agreements, and it's just, I think this was recommended by our tax title attorney, and when Lisa, our town council, reviewed it, she said, "Oh yeah, you definitely need to do this one."
Yeah, and
So.
I think we can't even enter into an agreement for somebody to pay us until we adopt this.
Right.
So, I mean, the ones that we currently have, fine, but you can't make an agreement with anybody new.
Right. And I'm not certain what we have in terms of remaining parcels that may be in tax title. I know Sarah's been kind of
Very
working
few.
through the list,
There's
Yeah.
a few, yeah.
but
Could
well,
be up to 20. I don't know for
Yeah.
sure. And right now, there might be 2 or 3 of them that are on payment plans. One of them just paid off their tax titles, so that was one that was paying us on a regular basis.
Great.
Yeah.
Great news.
so that's another one we can vote next week.
Okay.
And Julie, do you want me to just skip the remainder since we're gonna have
Yeah.
petitioners here?
Yeah, let's skip 19, 20, and 21. You can read them here. MA has sent me some stuff. I will forward like a description of each of these items to you all, so we have some background reading to support that before we talk to her next week. I said 6:30. I can change that. So we start at 5:30 next week, so we'll have an hour to do police budget, animal control, talk about budget as a whole. That'll probably take at least half an hour. Capital, it's gonna take the whole hour.
Maybe have her come a little.
Maybe push her at 7. And then we'll do as many of these other articles as I can. So I'll ask MA to come at 7. And then I just have a question on Article 22. Can you vote the exact same thing 2 years in a row? Isn't there some
Yeah.
rule against that?
No, I think there's something having to do with so there's zoning and then like capital overrides or something. Those ones are, you can't just keep voting them over and over again. Most other stuff you can.
Okay. On Article 22, is this the exact same wording as it was last time?
Yes. Yep.
We voted it last time. We have a statement from last time. I guess we'll revisit it again, but I'm kind of feeling like we're all the same
I can
people,
make this
right?
motion right now if you want. I mean, like.
Go for it.
I-
We voted no, and we said that there were financial implications because if you have a federal election and a state election at the same time, you have to have 2 separate ballots,
Right.
which you would not, and you have to administer that whole, like, keeping track of the 16 and 17-year-olds versus the 18 and ups and whatever.
Mhm.
So there was financial implications. You can make yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to not recommend Article 22 with that statement from last year, if we can dig it up. But yeah.
Do we have a second? I'll second it just so we can discuss it.
I'm just a little hesitant, Mark. I see where you're coming from. I'm just a little hesitant because I would like updates from the petitioner with respect to other municipalities that have voted it, and who may or may not be experiencing financial impacts?
The-
So if there's some way we
Well,
could
there-
get.
This is just a motion to
To-
write a letter.
Right.
So no one else is gonna have any, financial impacts.
It's the state, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is something that Desi's pushing really hard, or some of the people that are in Desi, and all of the other like schools in our area all voted yes. So like all the towns in Union 38 have already voted yes for this. So we're the final holdout. So they're just trying to push this through until we're not the final holdout.
And it also would not come into effect until and if the state votes to allow
Right.
16 and 17-year-olds. I don't. Does anybody know?
Out of the 351, and I think that there's
Money,
these
baby.
petitions in all 351. I don't know the current status of them, but I know that for our little corner of the world, 3 out of the 4 Union 38 towns have voted yes so far.
And I think last year, when it came up, I think only Cambridge and a couple other communities had done it. It was early on, so I don't know, since last year, a lot more towns have done it, but
It's been discussed in Project 351 as well. Like, yeah, I'm sure that
yeah.
there's going to be more and more talking about it, but the Commonwealth appears to be split on the issue.
They can't really even decide on how we hold meetings, so.
Yeah.
It's taken 5 years to approve language for holding a meeting. I don't know how this is gonna go. Be a while.
Do we want to ask the petitioner to come and talk to us about it?
Oh, do we know who the petitioner is?
That was the next question.
Yeah.
Somebody must
Was
know.
it was a Deerfield
Yeah,
resident?
we have their contact
Okay,
information, so
great.
we can
Yep,
reach out
that
to them.
was
And do we want to ask that they attend on Monday if possible and lump it in there with the energy? That's a lot.
Monday's getting full.
Okay.
As far as I mean, like, we still have the same financial impact regardless of whether or not we meet with the petitioner, but I suppose we can, but we're still going to have that problem with the elections.
So we have a motion on the table. Do you guys feel like we can vote this now, or would you rather hold off a week and get the petitioner to come talk to us?
I don't really have a preference. How many?
Okay.
Oh, sure. Who are we missing on our board? Just,
John and Jim.
I don't know. Preference.
And I can see your horse.
Motion still
No
on the
preference.
table.
Motion's on the table.
It's on the table.
Any,
It's not being withdrawn. We gotta vote on it, don't we?
yeah, we either need to vote on it or withdraw.
We need a Motion to withdraw.
Mark
the
is
motion.
throwing a stick in the mud here.
I am.
Obstinate man, you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, so voting in favor means it will say Finance Committee does not recommend the article. All those in favor of the motion? All those opposed? Abstaining? It does not pass.
Was 3-1-1.
It's 3-1-1.
Oh, I thought we had, oh, you were a yes?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I saw 2-2 and 1. 3-1-1, that does
She-
pass.
she's like
Okay.
this.
No, I was right behind Mark.
So
I can't-
you were supporting Mark's motion? Okay.
Vote yes means no. So, okay, that's, we're at our 6:30 and so we're losing people, so, I think we need to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Abstaining? You didn't raise your hand.
Oh.
401.
No. I meant in favor, sorry. Yeah.
Well, we're
right.
done. We don't have to vote anymore.
We're done.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Motion to adjourn the select board meeting?
Nope, you're not allowed.
You can't.
You can't ever adjourn because Trevor left.
Did he? I can't see him. Well, we'll just stay in session.
See you later, Blake.
See ya.
Won't, I don't know, so I can't find any column to print that debt report. I could just do a page setup and keep doing different, so I don't know if it's what you did, if it won't let me. Okay.